welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. It is time for the Champions League, but it's a very different feel ahead of this one because Barcelona are set to make a host of changes to their lineup. How is this one going to go? We're going to be talking about it, all of it right here. Let's get into it. Kickoff will be coming to us at 9 p.m. local time, live from San Siro in Italy. A massive place to go in the Champions League. It's Inter against Barcelona, and you can find here all of the times right around the world, because this one, it could be fascinating to see what happens. Elsewhere in Group F, Borussia Dortmund will be hosting Slavia Prague in what is a huge game there elsewhere in the group, and it will have huge significance what happens there for Inter Milan, of course, because right here, this is how Group F looks right now, and these are the permutations heading into the final game. Barcelona are confirmed top of the group. There is nothing at all that can change that. Not even we can mess this one up. So ultimately, we've got nothing to play for in this game, and Slavia Prague the same. They are confirmed there, bottom of the group. However, two teams are still there fighting for a place in the knockout stages. Dortmund and Inter are deadlocked there on 7 points, but Inter right now are ahead on the head-to-head ruling and also on the goal difference, which basically means that if Inter win, they are going to be through, and for that reason, they are going to come out firing. And if we just start with our opposition before we do move on to all of those changes that Barcelona are going to be planning, because Inter are coming into this game not only knowing they have to win, not only with the desperation of getting over the line and getting the victory here against a significantly weakened Barcelona. They've got a great crowd behind them, but also they're in fantastic form. Right now, Inter are confident, they're playing well, they're getting some great results, and since their loss at the Camp Nou, of course, which came several months ago, they've only tasted defeat twice in those next 12 matches they've had, losing there to just Juventus and Borussia Dortmund in that time. And despite their draw against Roma at the weekend, that was goalless there, Inter failed to really break them down. They still remain there, unbeaten in their last 5. So certainly right now, Inter looking very good, looking very strong. This, even at the best of times, wouldn't have been an easy game. And that strong run of form there from Inter, just like when we played them the last time, it means they still lead Serie A. After 15 games, they're still ahead of Juve, and that for me, very, very impressive. Even if Juventus haven't been at their best this season, Inter still doing very well under Antonio Conte. And certainly when you're looking at Inter, there is one man you will want to keep an eye on, whether you're a neutral, whether you're a Barcelona fan. A lot of relevance here on Lautaro Martinez, because this season for Inter, he has been absolutely outstanding. He's led the line very, very well alongside Romelu Lukaku. He's also built up a nice little partnership with him as well. Lautaro has 8 goals in 15 Serie A games this season, some big ones in there as well, but it's been in the Champions League. He has been prolific. 5 goals so far in 5 Champions League games. Big goals there as well. One, of course, coming at the Camp Nou in very, very nice fashion. A brilliant finish across Marc-Andre ter Stegen. And I do mention Lautaro here, not only because of his quality, but also the relevance to Barcelona. Because this morning, he appeared, as he has done before, on the local paper there in Barcelona, on the cover of Sport, along there with Arturo Vidal. And Sport basically say that during this trip to Milan, we could be discussing a possible deal for the future for Lautaro Martinez, and he's somebody that Barcelona do continue to monitor. Because you also remember back in the summer when Lautaro Martinez really broke onto the scene at Copa America, playing alongside Lionel Messi for Argentina, and back then it was mentioned that he does have a release clause in his contract at Inter for 111 million euros. Barcelona, of course, didn't meet that in the summer, but going forward, they still remain very interested in this exciting young forward. And also, of course, we've got to mention there the other man on the cover, Arturo Vidal, who also could be on the move very, very soon. And in particular, he could end up going to Inter Milan and reuniting with Antonio Conte, who of course he worked with when he was there, of course, a Juventus player. And it's very, very interesting because Arturo Vidal recently has been very unhappy with his playing time. He's growing more and more frustrated there with the fact that he's not in the starting lineup anywhere near as much as he would like to be. And certainly in January, I can see him leaving. Antonio Conte has been very, very vocal about the fact that he wants to bring in a centre midfielder in the upcoming transfer window. And apparently, during this visit to Milan, Lautaro will be discussed, and in particular, Vidal's move to Inter, it could get closer. But okay, it is now time to move on to those big changes coming in the Barcelona team, and I'm so glad that Ernesto Valverde has selected this squad. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment's time. Let's look at the players who'll travel to Milan to face Inter. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, no Gerard Piqué, Semedo's back in training, but he's not involved here. Rakitic is there, Busquets, Todibo, no Arthur Melo, who still remains out with that groin problem. There have been a few rumours about that injury, but I'm waiting there for more info before I go into that further. Luis Suarez is there, that's a bit of a surprise. No Lionel Messi. Massive news, of course, Messi rested for this game. Dembele, of course, is injured. Neto is there. Clement Lenglet, Moussa Wagué, Antoine Griezmann. No Jordi Alba, he's not quite ready to return yet. Carlos Alenia, Frenkie de Jong, Vidal, Umtiti, Firpo, Iñaki Peña, Carlos Perez, Ricky Puig is there, ladies and gentlemen. Ansu Fati is back, he's fit and ready, and hopefully we'll start in this one. Araujo and Morer complete there, the Barca squad. And like I say, I'm so happy Valverde has done this, because I was worried actually, knowing Valverde, knowing the fact that he is often quite scared of losing, not really happy to open ourselves up to defeat. In this game, we got nothing to play for. We've got two massive games coming. Going to the Anoeta at the weekend to face Sociedad is not easy, and that's just before the midweek clash. It's massive, El Clasico. We had to rest players here. This is the best chance to do it. We've got nothing to play for. There's nothing rested on this game. Of course, Inter are a tough game. We may end up losing this game, but you can't be scared of that. You've got to stand up, you've got to be brave, and give the youngsters a chance. If you don't give them an opportunity here, when would you? And that's what I'm so glad to see here. A lot of fresh faces, a lot of good young talent, and we've got to see them there out on the field tomorrow, because just think about it. What an experience for these young guys. Ricky Puig, Ansu Fati, Carlos Perez, going out there onto the field at San Siro in a Champions League occasion. What a match for them. What an experience. How much they'll take from that cannot be taken for granted, and I think certainly it's an exciting game tomorrow. We may well lose, but I hope that we see there a group of young, exciting talents that will be so much better for this experience. And so, we do now move on to my ideal 11 based on that squad there. Who would I like to see in the team tomorrow? And just look at this. Honestly, making this lineup here, changing around some players, it got me genuinely really hyped for this game, because look at that team. You've got Neto in goal there, making his Barcelona debut in competitive action. I play their Junior Firpo at left back simply because Jordi Alba will be returning soon. I think Firpo deserves a bit more game time before most likely he's taken out of the team. Samuel Umtiti here at centre-back alongside Jean-Claire Todibo. Two very good centre-backs there. I wouldn't say we're significantly weakened there in defence with those two, but good game time for them. Moussa Wagué there at right-back. Massive experience in this kind of game for him. And look at that midfield. Look at that. If Valverde does that, honestly, thank you, man. Thank you. I don't often give him credit, but if he does that midfield, if we see that there at the San Siro, I would love that. Frenkie de Jong holding, really running the show here. Ricky Puig, Carlos Alenia, finally getting some game time. It would be wonderful, wouldn't it, to see that midfield. And then look at that strike force. Ansu Fati from the left, Carlos Perez from the right, and maybe, for one night only, Antoine Griezmann there, down the middle, running the show as the centre forward. Look at that team. And tell me now, you're not a bit excited for this, if we see that. And to be honest, guys, I don't really think it would be fair to give a score prediction coming into this game, because like I say, we don't really need anything. We don't need to win, we don't need to draw, we're not really worried about losing. I don't think we should be scared of that, because at the end of the day, it's always been the Barcelona philosophy to, when there's a chance, when there's an opportunity, get those young players out there, get them on the field, having that experience, using that in the right way. Because you think back to Pep's time, you even think back to Luis Enrique's time at the club, even though he didn't use youth all that much, Luis Enrique, in that final group game, if we'd won, if we'd wrapped it all up with Pep, with Lucho, with many Barca coaches, they'd change things around. They'd put players out there who are inexperienced, who may lose that game. We might end here with a loss in the Champions League, but it doesn't matter. We are going to be going through anyway, and we're resting players like Messi, players there like Gerard Piqué, who desperately need that rest. It's vital there, ahead of the big games that we have coming up. And in this game, Valverde so far has got it right with the squad list. Maybe a few more of those could have been rested, maybe Luis Suarez, but even so, important now that tomorrow we see the right lineup, the right team, the right balance, and ultimately, let's see what these guys can do should be fascinating. So please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I'm really excited here to see what you would actually do in this kind of game. What lineup would you choose? Who would you go with out there? And of course, let me know as well if you bring anybody on, if you'd like to see somebody there that's in the squad rested. Let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. I'll be back very soon, of course, tomorrow with that match review. It should be interesting. I'll see you then. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.